Hello everybody, it's great to be with you, working with you, helping you do business better. This week, I want to talk to you about it's kind of leadership. I think this is a conversation that we go through on a regular basis as business owners, business operators. It's a kind of this and it's a kind of that. You're a kind of a leader, you're a kind of a business owner, you're a kind of a technician, you're a kind of financial operator, you're a kind of lots of things, and you kind of struggle is where do I really nail myself and how do I really own that space? And I want to bring out the brilliance in you through this conversation today. So I want to ask you the question, do you struggle with kind of owning your space? And that's what we're going to work on as we work through our show today. And I'm so looking forward to doing that with you, because I find this is the kind of conversation that I have on a regular basis with those that I work with. They're struggling to fit in the right place and they're struggling to find their right mode of operandi. And so having a coach in the room, and I do these three things all the time with my clients, bring focus, clarity, and accountability, so we can remove the muddy areas and really sharpen up what it is that they're doing, and also then help them deliver on that so they know they're actually moving forward and making headway. And that's the power of having these kinds of conversations that we're having by both radio and TV. We're also having one-on-one with my clients, helping them deal with it's kind of this or it's kind of that. Winston Churchill said, everything rises and falls on leadership. And if you don't know Winston Churchill, former Prime Minister of England during the Second World War, and recent movie has just come out, and that the actor that played Winston Churchill has just won an award, Golden Globe for that. So great movie, great acting, great story. John Maxwell, another competent leader in this space of helping us understand leadership, says leadership is influence, and illustrates it this way. That if you are out climbing a mountain and you look behind you and nobody's following you, all you've done is gone for a long walk, because leadership is influence. If you're out on a mountain and there is people following you up that mountain, you know you are having influence. So everything rises and falls on leadership, and leadership is influence, bringing people with you into the place where you want them to go. So I want to take away this misconception, it's kind of this and it's kind of that, and really nail for you today the whole dynamic of you getting and owning the space that I am a leader. Everything rises and falls on who I am, and I'm going to deliver influence in the world in which I operate. So when you get up on a Monday morning and you're ready to start that week, and to take your business forward for the next 90 days, the next 12 months, and the next 2 years, so you know I've got this purpose, plan, and process in place that's going to give me the profits that I know that this business really can generate, then watch out, world, because I know I'm not going to be a kind of leader, a kind of business owner, a kind of financial planner, a kind of this or a kind of that. I'm going to own my space. I love encouraging people to actually stand in front of the mirror and say things to themselves. To say to yourself, I'm a leader, I own this business, I'm a director, I lead this business, I'm a shareholder, I influence this business. And let me tell you, this is really powerful about what the dynamic can actually do for you and how you actually approach many more things in your world when you not kind of do it or kind of turn up and kind of lead and kind of be the business owner and director, but you own it and you deliver it. Because let me tell you this, there is brilliance inside of you yet to be discovered and yet to come out. It's having a coach in the world, and that's why I do this, because I want to coach you into your place of brilliance, because that's what you were created to be a brilliant, outstanding, unique entity in this amazing world in which we live, and let your brilliance shine. And I'm using the word deliberately because when we see something brilliant, it actually makes a mark on us. Here in Western Australia, where I live, we have our annual celebration on Australia Day, and we have on our foreshore down by our river, and it's a beautiful river, the Swan River. It really is a beautiful river. And they have fireworks, and those fireworks are brilliant, and hundreds of thousands of people come to see their brilliance. It's attractive, it's engaging, it's colorful, it's lively, it's wonderful to behold. And I want you to understand, if you will recognize this in you, that you have brilliance inside of you, and not kind of playing at this or kind of playing at that, the amazingness that will actually come out is actually interesting to behold. I'm about to launch my website, and my website, I've really gone for a highly professional website, and I'm looking for it to be brilliant, to have an impact when people see it, and they'll see who I am and what I do. So I was asked to write today my brief story in 300 words. And so you'll get to know a little bit more about me as you go to my website and have a look. Because I want to say to the world of coaching that I am somebody to recognize with, to engage with, and you can be confident that when you engage with me, you are going to have somebody who really does know and understand this whole world of coaching. Coaching is not overly difficult or complicated. My job is to ask a question. And I'm asking the question of you today, not to be kind of this or kind of that, but actually own the space that you sit in as a business owner, business operator, that you are a leader. Everything rises and falls on you, and you're going to influence the world in which you operate, and let your brilliance shine. Because there is some amazing dynamics inside of you yet to be discovered, that along the way you've thought that maybe one day I could do, maybe I should be, and those kind of things, and maybe things that sit around your world. I want to challenge you to put them to one side and to step in and own what it is that you are and what it is that you've done. Because this world is waiting for you to stand in your brilliance so you can actually shine and deliver to this world the uniqueness that you have, and the uniqueness of leadership that you bring. I'm not asking you to be a Winston Churchill or a John Maxwell or anybody else that are, and there's some outstanding leaders. I'm not asking you to be like me. I'm asking to be you in your brilliance, your uniqueness, your amazingness, and not looking in that mirror and saying, I doubt this, I'm not sure about that, I kind of this and I kind of have a go at that. By listening to this conversation today and walking with me as I share some dynamics with you, the difference that it will make for you, in you, and through you, you will actually start to own this space that I am a leader, and I'm going to own my space. I'm going to stand up and say, this is me. And if you want to know what that's about, there's a really, really powerful song from The Greatest Showman. And it is a powerful song. Love it. It tells the story. This is me. Once you listen to it, it is really catchy. And that's what I want you to own. So when you step into your world on a day-by-day basis, when you interact with your staff, your executive, your shareholders, your boards, your directors, your stakeholders, your clients, they know they're engaging with somebody who actually knows and understands their space. I'm not asking you to be arrogant. I'm not asking you to be aggressive. In fact, I'm probably asking you to be more humble than anything. But you own it, and you live it by powerful relationships that you have with people, and letting them know that you are confident about who you are, you're confident about what you deliver, you're confident in your products, you're confident in your staff, you're confident in your maybe retail space or office space, or the environment where you interact, and it might be an online space. But you recognize that, own that, and understand that, and you're stepping into and moving away from, it's maybe this, maybe that, it's kind of this or it's kind of that. It's actually, I know who I am, and I know that I own this space. I will bring influence, and I will bring difference, and I will let my brilliance shine. So what does a leader do? A leader must take responsibility. If everything rises and falls on leadership, everything rises and falls on you. And sometimes as leaders, we wonder why stuff happens and it hits the fan. And we then initially, because it's the way we've been trained, is we blame others. So let me illustrate it this way. We point the finger at others. Ask the question, how many fingers are pointing back at you? There's more fingers pointing back at you than there is than you pointing others. And so realizing the dynamic of what's going on, I need to own the space of leadership. Everything rises and falls on me. If parts of my business are failing, they're failing because of my leadership and my influence and my direction that I'm giving to my team. Now, I'm not saying you've done everything wrong and, woe is me, everything hurts me and I eat worms all day, big, fat, juicy ones, long, slender, skinny ones. I'm not asking you to do that and think, woe is me, everything's wrong. No, but understanding with a mature attitude that if everything rises and falls on leadership and I am the leader and leaders influence, I've influenced something in the dynamic of my business that I need to work on. And in business, I know that can change annually or it can change from week to week. So it's not that you've made wrong decisions. To the best you have been informed and understood, you've established what you've done. And that's why having a coach in the room, what we do is we work together to continue to work on the tweaks to help your business actually do business better. So what I want you to do is take responsibility for you as a leader. And it's a very simple dynamic, and that is write down the plan. You may say, well, I've done that. I have my business plan. No. Business plans are really good and really healthy and really important. But I'm wondering whether you've actually written down a plan for your staff. I'm wondering whether you've written down a plan for your executive team. I'm wondering whether you've written down a plan for your own leadership. I'm wondering whether you've written a plan. Let's list the dynamics of what's going on in our business, of where you have influence and where everything will rise and fall on. So if you have an area of responsibility, that is, I own the business and lead the director, and I've got a team, I need to make sure that my team fully understand what it is that I want them to know, understand, act upon. So I delegate that to them and they're accountable back to me. And that accountability is not just for them to make sure that they're doing well, it is actually the very most powerful area for you to actually make a difference in the business. So when you have the accountability question, you're actually asking how well have I helped them do what they do so they can excel and rise and grow and develop and become outstanding men and women in and for your organization and in and for your clients and in and for the rest of your staff and people that you as a business influence. So when you ask the accountability question, you're asking, have I really helped my team deliver and be the outstanding men and women that they really can be? And so it's not just asking them, have they got their KPIs? Are they meeting their job description or their outcome statement? Are they growing and developing? Have they met budgets, etc., etc.? You're asking that of yourself. Have I done enough? Have I given them enough? Have I put the resources around them that they need and spent the money on them that they need? Have I put tools into their hands that they need? So when we're asking that accountability question, we're asking ourselves about what we do to influence and what we do about the plan that we put in place for those very powerful dynamics to actually take place. It is just so important for you and I to understand that whole dynamic. It is our individual action responsibility. It's not for your executive team to come up with it. It's not for your directors to come up with it. It's for you to step into that space and own that and deliver that into your world. So I wonder, if you have written a plan, when was the last time you actually looked at it? Maybe even that's your business plan. When did you pull it out from the bottom drawer or downloaded it from C Drive so you can actually have a look at this plan that we've said this is what we will do and be for the next 3 years? I'm on a board. On a regular basis, we, at least once or every second board meeting, we pull out our strategic plan and we ask the question, where are we at in the life of our strategic plan? What are the measures we're looking for? What are the indicators that are telling us where we're actually going and whether we're actually arriving at the destination where we established this plan to do? So we review it on a regular basis and we ask further questions, not letting the plan dictate the agenda, but asking ourselves the question, what is it that we need to continue to speak into? Because for me, plans are not carrots, they're companions, they're dynamic, they're fluid, because the world is changing at an amazing rate. And this huge responsibility. Now, a plan doesn't have to have many pages. Oftentimes, I encourage my clients to write a single page summary focused commentary on what their plan is. And it might be mission, vision, values. This is what we want to do. And in this area, I want to do this, and this. So I'm wondering what you've actually done for yourself in this space. And I help my clients by giving them tools and resources that they don't need to go searching for. And that's why when you have a coach in your room, they have done the work. They have gathered resources and tools. And I find this over and over again for leaders, that one of the biggest areas they fail to plan in is planning their time and what they actually are doing with it. They know they turn up to work and they know they go home from work, and sometimes they wonder, what have they actually done in that day that was effective? And I know there is really simple tools. So let me give you one just to kind of catch your attention with, is the 2-minute rule. If you can do it in 2 minutes, do it. If not, it goes onto your action list. And then you reprioritize it where it fits, whether it's tomorrow, next week, next month. I find that over and over again, people fail to plan their time. People fail to plan what they will aim to accomplish. Everybody has task lists, but they let the tail wag the dog, rather than asking the question, yes, this does need to be done, but when should I do it? Planning the day, planning the week, planning the month, whereby I will engage in that whole dynamic. We don't plan our meetings. I often find that many businesses don't plan regular staff meetings, weekly, fortnightly, at least fortnightly. Don't have an agenda. I don't want you to have a meeting. I want you to have an outcome. What is the purpose of that? What is it you really want to do? And there's many areas. So my challenge to you is think about what it is right now that you're thinking, I should write a plan about. It might be 3 or 4 or 5 things. Write them down right now. Put them on your to-do list. Put them into the future where you'll work on them. And when it comes up, write that plan out and implement it. And as we've been walking through that whole dimension, you will understand that it is leadership. You own it. You're going to make a difference. You're going to let your brilliance shine. You're going to write a plan. You're going to solve problems. And let me tell you this last one. You're going to avoid average. What does average do? Many people in business turn up to work, go home, and they have an average day. Not much has made a difference. Not much has changed. By avoiding average, what am I asking you to actually do, be, and become? I'm actually asking you to do, be, and become that little bit added extra. Because when you do above average, it's a little bit more noticeable, a little bit more influential, a little bit sharper, a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more effective. When you're average, you get lost in the plethora of other businesses and in the plethora of life. When you're above average, people notice there's something quite different. They can't necessarily put their finger on it, but they know there is something different. And I believe this. The clarity of vision, the clarity of mission purpose, the clarity of values that you have and that you live by, day by day, week by week, month by month as a business operator will help you when you know and own leadership, you've written the plan, and you recognize I am a problem solver. All of those lift you to not being average, but to be a little bit above average. What is excellence? Excellence is doing 10% more than what you are kind of expected to do. So being above average is not necessarily overextending yourself. It's not challenging you to change the world today, tomorrow, or next week. But you can, over your period of your life, actually have amazing impact on the world in which you speak into, being a business operator and business owner. Why am I doing this show? I do this show because when I've looked around at business owners and operators and coaches, there is not many people out there with a clear voice helping small to medium to large businesses knowing and understanding what those dynamics are and bringing principles into your world that will help tweak who you are and help you grow as a person, business operator, business owner. Above average, not average, because you will get lost in the plethora. Living as the average does is living as the average is. What I'm asking you to do is take this word and be a little bit exceptional. That's what it does. When people notice you and talk about your business, they will say there is something different about what you're doing. And it's really, really noticeable. Let me just talk about my son and his business. There is one of the most wealthiest men in Western Australia that my son has a personal relationship with. And I said to him, I'm really jealous. How did you do that? I know how he did it. He simply gave exceptional service, and this man has come back to him on numbers of times and given him more work to do simply because he's not been an average builder, but he's been an exceptional builder, standing out above the plethora of builders in the building industry. Anywhere in the world, it's the same deal. And he is found to be delivering great service, but also a great quality of work is part of who my son is and the ethos that he has. It's not a great hardship to actually do. And he built his business of going the extra mile, and the extra mile principle is a really cool one, and maybe I'll talk about that on a business tip. And I want you to understand, above average is boring. Above average will lessen your ability. Average is boring. Average will lessen your ability. Average will pull you down. Average will make you gray. And I started at the top of the show asking you to be brilliant. Let your brilliance shine. Let your creativity shine. That's what we're actually asking you to do. And understand these dynamics of leadership. Let them sit in your spirit and let them sit in the way you think. And remember what I've asked you to do. In this part of the world, I'm asking you to be a strategic thinker. And it's this principle. Be still. There is power in being quiet and reflective. And I've asked you to kind of de-technologize that stillness. Take a pen, pencil, and take a journal, physical journal, go away to a quiet place, no technology, where there is stillness and quietness, and watch the difference that it makes to help you be an above average performer, above average leader, above average owner, above average director, above average influencer. and enabling your brilliance to actually shine, because when you do that, you will actually go deep into your soul, your spirit, your ethos, your ego, your id, your physiology, your psychology, and you will let those things come out. And you'll be able to put them into who you are and what you do in the business world, in your life, in your family, in your community, in all sorts of dynamics. It will help you. So I've been sharing with you today, it's kind of leadership. So what I'm doing for you what I want you to stay tuned for is the question of the moment. And I love these. They come from all over the world, and they really help you, because this is business owners saying, help me with. So stay tuned. We're going to go right to that for you, and it's going to help you greatly. Great to share with you again today, helping you do business better. This is from Julia in Boston, and I'm pretty sure that is the US of A. It's great to be with you, Julia, and it's great to be able to answer these kinds of questions that I know you and other businesses struggle with, which is a staffing question. And I love the fact that I love helping business owners do well with their staff. And Julia's question is, I have a team member always on their mobile phone. I wonder how many of you sharing with me today can say, that's me as well. What do we do? Great question that Julia's asked is, how do we work ourselves through this kind of dynamic? Let me tell you, to really simplify it, what I want you to do is I want you to create an induction process. So what you want to imagine is, I'm about to hire a new staff member, and I want them to get to know who my business is and where my business is going to go. So mission, vision, values, and policies, procedures. It doesn't mean you've got to have a lot of that. You can have that on 2 or 3 pages. I have a system that I have a portal that if you contact me via email, john@peakconsultancy.com.au, I can talk to you about a portal system that I use that will simplify a lot of that for you. So what I want you to do today is I need to induct my staff into my process of how I want business to be conducted. One of those is you're going to write a media or social media strategy or policy or procedure. And what I would encourage you to do, especially if you are working with already engaged staff, and don't forget, you might not kind of pick the accent, but mine's an English accent, so you need to reinterpret the word staff for you. And what I want you to do is create with your staff the induction process, because it really will help them getting ownership, because they'll say to you, do you really mean this? Or that would be a really good idea. And then you implement it and they realize there's changes that they need to make. And it really is a great way to go. So you start with the obvious that can work well for you, make it easy. You might not want to tackle the social media strategy straight away, but you'll say over the next 3 months, what we are going to do is we're going to build for ourselves great and better work practices for all of us to be involved in. So it's all about that kind of dynamic that you're wanting to answer. And so here is the issue. We struggle with this question, how to have a crucial conversation. Again, I have a resource on that to help you. And so I've given you my email address. You can contact me. We can chat about that and tell you the power of when you have crucial conversations and what they mean for you and what they can mean to help you with your staff. So this is the answer to the question that Julia has given. Julia, and all businesses listening to me today, is have an induction process, work with your team and watch the difference that it will make in taking your team forward so you can have a better business.